What's up, y'all? Welcome back. Welcome back. Today, I'm here with 3 book reviews. Let's get it.
Favorite reader, that's who you are. Traveling near, traveling far. Through every chapter, you're the star. Favorite reader, that's who you are.
Okay, we got book mail. This looks like it's open, right? Because I actually ordered something and I thought this was it. And I was like, wait a minute. I didn't order books. And I realized at that point that this is a gift from my wish list. So I stopped because I wanted to record and open it here. I don't know what's in here. I saw like the edge of a book and I feel like, I'm like, that cover looks familiar, but I don't know. I don't know what it is. So I'm opening this here with y'all. Let's see. This is a surprise. I'm shocked because with bookshop.org wish list things, I actually get an email saying like somebody bought something off your registry, and I just go ahead and close the email. So I know something's coming, but I don't know what. But this came from my Amazon wish list, and they don't let me know. I didn't know this was coming unless I just missed the email. But I don't think I did. I really think I just didn't know this was coming. Here we go. Okay, I see it. I knew. I thought the first book, I was like, this looks so familiar, and I just couldn't place it. And now that I see it, I know exactly what it is. I don't know who sent it, but whoever sent this, before I even look at the note, because there is a note, you know what I like. You picked the perfect book off this list, because let me read the thing first. Oh, there's 2. Okay. So it's 2 books in here. Let me put that down so I don't see. One of them says, "You've been in your bag. Grateful to be in community with you from Taking Notes with Dr. E." Thank you, Dr. E. This is so sweet. I wasn't expecting this. Thank you so much. You are so sweet. If you haven't checked out Taking Notes with Dr. E, do it. I love her channel, like for real. She has like some of the best discussions when it comes to what she pulls out of these books. She has an impeccable taste in books, first of all. I like the way she talks about it. She always highlights the author, which is so cool to me. Great channel. I'm gonna go ahead and link that below. But thank you. And then we have another one behind it. Proverbs 31:26 from Taking Notes with Dr. E. She opens her mouth with wisdom, and on her tongue is a law of kindness. Thank you. That is so sweet and thoughtful. Thank you. I'm glad to be in community with you too. I always keep my notes. I appreciate that. Y'all are so sweet. Thank you so much. Let me see. I already see the first book, but I'm gonna try not to look at the second one. Let me close the so I don't see the second one. The first book, I have wanted this since they first said that it was coming out. I knew it was coming out before it came out, and it's been on my wish list since. Very excited to read this. Very. That is Bagman, the story behind the improbable rise of Coach by Lou Frankfurt, who is a former CEO of Coach. I can't wait to get in this. I cannot wait to get in this. It's been on my list. And I thought, like, I was trying to hold out a little bit because I was like, maybe my library would get it. I requested it. That does nothing for me in my library. When you request something, they do not care. They're not buying it. But I thought maybe they would get it in. They never did. And now look. Dr. E, thank you. Oh, I'm so excited. Oh, so excited. Lou Frankfurt knew nothing about fashion when he became assistant to the founder of Coach. By the time he left, Frankfurt had spent 29 years as CEO, growing Coach from a scrappy maker of leather bags with a small cult following to a beloved lifestyle brand. I'm so excited. I can't wait to get into this. Thank you. Okay. There's one more in here. I haven't seen any pieces of this. None. So let's see. Can y'all see it before I see it, or is this the back of the book? Chain of Ideas, The Origins of Our Authoritarian Age by Ibram X. Kennedy. I have a few of his books, and I even have, like, I've read some of the ones that's adapted for younger readers with my son. Oh my goodness, this thing heavy. This thing thick. This book is way heavier than this. Okay, it's got some little size on it. I am so excited. This was a winner of the National Book Award. In Ideas of Change, the author offers an unsettling but indispensable global history of how great replacement theory brought humanity into this authoritarian age and how we can free ourselves from it. Ooh, 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 ooh. 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 Recall the words chanted in Charlottesville, Virginia, "You will not replace us." Recall the string of mass shooters across the globe who claimed their crimes were a defense against white genocide. Recall business and media figures cultivating anxieties over demographic change. These incidents only scratch the surface. Popular and ruling politicians in every region of the world have expressed some version of great replacement theory. I can't. This thing thick. I'm not even lying. Let me see. Hold on. This book got some weight on it. 550 pages. Okay. I am so excited. I'm so excited. Very excited. Oh my goodness. Thank you. Thank you so much. I don't know which one I'm going to read first. I'm sitting here like, I have an idea of when I might read this because I have another book I kind of am thinking about I want to read around the same time that I read that. I'm sitting here like, I don't know. I gotta see what my reader looks like. But I'm so excited. Thank you so much, Dr. E. I appreciate you, girl. Okay. Back to the video. Okay, y'all. Today we're here to talk about 3 books that I read. One of these I read like a month ago. Like I finished a month ago. And I'm gonna start with that one. I've really been trying to decide how I felt about this book. And I'm finally at a point where I feel like I can talk about how I truly feel. Because at first it was a lot of mixed emotions about it, a lot of mixed feelings about it. And that book is The Wilderness by Angela Flournoy. I be hoping y'all can see. Anyways, I had a lot of feelings when I read this. First of all, let me tell you what the book is about. This book follows a group of friends. Desiree, Danielle, their sisters, January, Monique, and Nakia. So 5 women. You see their relationships over the course of time, where it starts off, like the origins of it, and then where it leads to ups and downs, ins and outs, twists and turns. And going into this, I knew all the stories in here would be interconnected. And going in, I thought this book would cover the complexities of long-lasting friendships. 2 of the women, like I mentioned, are sisters. So I knew that would add another layer of complexity into it. And I thought, just based on a few reviews, like, I thought I'd really like it. That's kind of the general vibe I was getting. I did. I liked a lot about this. I liked how, as a millennial, I could connect with some of the stuff. Like, it was very much in my element in some ways, very much relatable in some ways. I like the fact that it wove in a lot of like current topics, a lot of social justice issues, a lot of humanitarian issues. I like the fact that it brought up, like I mentioned earlier, the complexity of relationships. Not necessarily in the way that I thought it was going to bring it in, but nonetheless, it was still there in its own way. I liked how it highlighted relationships can be messy, but they can be beautiful as well. Again, not in the way I thought this will be highlighted, but highlighted nonetheless. And I like the identity, like the individual identity of the women. Not in the way that I thought, but there nonetheless. Just like when you meet a group of people or start any relationship, and slightly different with the sisters, but I'll talk about that in a minute. When you start a relationship, you aren't always that same person in every single way. Maybe your core might be the same. Like you are your values and what you do, and some of that stuff is just you and your personality. But some of that stuff shifts, and life happens. You go through grief, tragedy, ups, downs, reality checks. Social media might play a role. You go through identity crises and seeking community and trying to find your purpose and your value. And all of that stuff plays into how you show up for yourself and in the relationships that you're in. With the sister group, I didn't really know what I was getting. I knew that it would be interwoven in there, but I didn't really know how. The sisters, like their relationship was there, but I just thought, I don't know, I expected the sisters' relationship to kind of transcend the friendships dynamics. And it did and didn't at the same time, because the book starts off with the sisters' situation, being with their grandpa. And I thought that would kind of frame the story. I don't know what I thought. I'm not sure what I thought, but I did think that I would get like equal part sisterhood that I did friendship, and not just like reiterating the same thing. So that was kind of a thing where I was like, I don't know what I was expecting from the sisterhood. Not quite sure. But a lot of it was relatable. Another thing, when you in relationships, friendships, whatever, when you show up, like you have life outside of the relationship that you're present in. Like life is happening. You deal with trauma, you deal with grief, you deal with highs, lows, you deal with your own things, mental health issues, being a mom, being a wife, being a this, being a that, your career. All of these things, all of these pressures, all of these expectations aren't in a silo outside of like your friendship and your relationship. They bleed into it, and they cross over, and they contradict at times, and they mix and mesh sometimes, and sometimes they don't. Sometimes they're in direct opposition of each other. Life keeps going regardless of everything else. Some of the There wasn't a single main character in this book, and I think I'm thinking faster than I'm talking. I don't think, for me personally, I don't think the point of me reading this book was to like any of the characters, even though you might can identify with some, and some people might like them. To me, like, what was more important than the characters themselves was like what's being said about it, what's trying to be conveyed. Because I didn't like any of the characters, and the plot was like, all the characters had something that you could understand. They had a plight. They had stuff they was dealing with. They had reasons for why they might have behaved poorly at times. They had stuff that they was dealing with. None of them seemed like, I don't know, maybe that's the point. Like, you're not always a good friend, but that was fine. But the way the story was told too, I feel like it was told in a non-linear, fragmented way, and that can be done really well. And maybe it was done really well, like for what it was, but something about it, like, I didn't actually love the way the story was told, but I liked it. That's what I came to with this book. I like this book. I would recommend it to people. It's very much like, it's a lot of stuff to talk about in here. And maybe that's another thing that kind of was like slightly a downside. It's so much that's being packed in. And I feel like so much of those individual things and themes could have been like expanded upon in so many different ways. Maybe that's also the point. I don't know. I still would recommend it. I like it. I just didn't absolutely love it. And I think when I first started reading it, first of all, check your trigger warnings with every one of these books I'm talking about today. Let me say that. Every single one of these. This one and the next two. Heavy. Check your trigger warnings. But this book starts off with a a shocker to me. I don't know what I was expecting. I was thinking friendship, this. It starts off with straight up grief, and depending on who you are and what you reading, you might be triggered by it. I was like, wow, I just was not expecting this. But okay. So be mindful of that. So yeah, I think that's kind of where I'm at with this. Some parts of this book felt so familiar. They felt so familiar and relatable. And some other parts I just felt like, for example, one thing that I really like was going back and forth with. There was parts of this book that I was reading, like whether a different storyline was introduced, a conversation came up, something. And I really asked myself, like after I read it, I was like, why was this in the book? I don't know what I was supposed to get from it. I don't know the significance and importance of it. I didn't really know what, okay, I read it, but like I didn't know how it added to the story. And maybe it didn't. Like, I guess, you could do whatever you want to do, but maybe it did, and I just missed that. I don't know. So I like this book. I didn't absolutely love it, but I did like it. And since I've read it, because I was over on on social media, I've actually recommended this to a few people. Some people were saying they were starting to read it. What do you think about it? And I've kind of given this feedback saying I like the book. I didn't love it. I definitely would recommend it. Like this, and this. So I do like it. And I see the appeal. I see why. If somebody said they absolutely love this book, I can see why they would say that. Another thing I liked about this book is just thinking about how friendships grow over time. Like in my inner circle, what makes us different and what makes us similar. And then like also I found myself examining how I show up in my relationships. Like just thinking about like your place in your relationships and then the other people's place in your relationship. And so it was good to think about that. Definitely relatable, like I said, when it talked about identity, purpose, trying to find your way. Yeah. And I actually, what do I have tabbed in here? It was two things I wanted to share. Oh, I did like this quote. She hadn't planned right. That was nobody's problem but hers. Nobody's fault, but it felt like it should be. How seductive to place the blame elsewhere. Let's see. Oh, I've I've felt this way before. She was working on being less anxious about her sources of income drying up, but it was hard to resist the urge to say yes to everything, to spread herself thin in an effort to make as much money as possible, as fast as possible, just in case. Yeah, that's my thoughts on that. Liked it, didn't absolutely love it, but like what make like this also makes me think I'm about to move on to the next ones. Don't worry. But isn't that one of the beauties of reading, to sit with a book and really think about how you really felt about it? Like I love that. Cause sometimes you read something, I know I'll bet it's like I love it. This is this. Some stuff I read, I know I'll bet this is not for me. Some stuff I read and I don't know at first, I'm unsure, but by the end of the book, I know for sure. I had to really like go back and forth, Venn diagram, okay? Like, what I didn't like, what I'm neutral about, like what these things have in common. I really had to think about how I was reading this book to see what I thought about it. Like, what lens was I reading this book from? What framework am I like trying to look at this book through? So that, to me, that's beauty. That's the beauty of reading, you know. So that's book one. And first of all, let's look at this cover. Now she did that. That is gorgeous. Okay, amazing, amazing. That's book one. Let me see. I got a lot going on over here. Woo, book one. The next book, this was on my July TBR, and I actually buddy read this with Shelby Monet. That is Fish Tales by Nettie Jones. This book, this book had a lot going on, but a lot. Okay, wait. This book, when I read, I don't know how much I read in my TBR video of this inner flap. This tells you what you're gonna expect from this book. This flap tells you what you're gonna expect. Where she says she got a gay hustler friend. When she says she's supported by her husband. When she say a affluent black community, snorts piles of cocaine. She guzzles champagne. Wakes up on silk sheets with a variety of lovers. Um, Soon, Lewis and Brooke are ensnared in a struggle for dominance that launches them into a shock of violence. Like, this is as provocative as it is moving and as profane as it is artful. That sums up the book. Let me say that again, because that is the book. It is as provocative as it is moving. Yes. And it is as profane as it is artful. Double yes. This book had a lot going on, but in a good way. The main character's name is Lewis, and it takes place in the 1970s. And Lewis, again, like I'm kind of feeling like maybe it's my framework for how I'm looking at these books. Cause like, yes, I'm thinking about Lewis, but this book talks about so many more things. Anyways, let me tell you about Lewis. Lewis is the main character of this book. She's a woman who's dealing with a lot. From a young age, she's experienced trauma after trauma after trauma. You get to see her grapple with that over years. You get to see her decisions. You get to see how the things that happen to us when we're children, how it can affect our lives and what we do now, what we think about ourselves, what we think about our place, how we act, how we treat other people, what we accept from other people, how we do things we don't want to do. How it impacts our mental health and the friend groups that we run around and what we allow and don't allow, and then what we put on other people, all that stuff. And you get to see how Lewis is living her life now. It takes place in the 70s now. They're going back and forth between New York City and Detroit. And this book goes over Lewis's lovers. It goes over her inner thoughts. It goes over her actions. Some of like the way that this story is told in a choppy way. It's told very much like the way that I feel like Lewis's life is going. It mirrors what I feel like. It really puts you in the state of how Lewis is living her life. And it's just a lot. I felt bad at times because I'm like, dang, I wish women would realize their worth, and I wish we could heal from the things that have like broken us down. I wish we could rise above it. I wish we could do right by ourselves. I wish there was an easy 1, 2, 3 step way to overcome mental health issues and battles, but it's not that easy. It's complicated. It's a lot. And this book showed that it was a lot. What it can escalate to, what it can lead to. The characters in this book, like this book was not what I was expecting. And I was talking to Shelby Monet about this and was just like, this book kind of, I opened the book and I got caught off guard. I got caught. It was like a slap in the face. I was like, wait. I feel like I just got dropped off in a neighborhood and I got to find out where I'm at. That's how this book started for me. That's how it started for me personally. I was like, wait a minute, hold up. It's some scenes in this book that I was like, what is going on here? But it's so many important conversations being had. There's commentary, or like in the way that Nettie Jones is setting up this book to have those important conversations, it's not straight up like I'm posing these questions, let me ask. It's through her storytelling. So you can draw these questions up yourself, like thinking about the relations between older Black women and the younger Black women, like the two generations, thinking about how the older generation might treat them on both sides of that. when you think about the relations between men and women who they may deem disposable or unattainable, even when you think about taking care of somebody, like jumping into this caregiver role, and is it altruistic all the time, and what that looks like on both sides when you think about manipulation and you think about living this fast life, when you think about doing the stuff again, doing the stuff you don't want to do and why, and getting to the root of that, and you think about listening to that voice in your head, if you got that voice in your head, and you know, the people in your circle. When you think about all of this, this book was interesting, and it ends with a bang. Yeah. If you've read this and you on Instagram, let me know, because I don't want to spoil it like in this video in the comments, but let me know, like, let's chat on Instagram, because yeah, I just want to know what people think about it. This book is not something that I would be like, oh yes, like I would just go grab this off the shelf. But the more I think about it, I liked it when I read it. But the more I think about it after I've closed the book, I'm liking it even more, like as the days go on. Like I can really see how this was well done for what it is. And I don't know, it's one of those books I just feel like you either gonna like this or you not. Nettie Jones is not, she not here for the other stuff. You gonna like this book for what it is, or you not gonna like it. Speaking of which, let me show y'all her author photo, because it perfectly matches the vibe of this book. 100%. Yeah. Oh, look at that. This is Blurred by Angela Flournoy. Interesting. I just reviewed her book. Let me see. I'm just looking to see if something that I highlighted was something I want to share. Oh, I do want to share a couple of these. This one kind of long. Hold on. Let me be slightly selective. Okay, I'm gonna share these three, but not anymore. This one says, "Why are you always at war?" "Guess I've never known peace," I said as he finally pulled himself up beside me. "I was brought up on conflict, misery, hostility. My mother's passed it down. My daddies didn't stick around long enough to stop them," I mumbled out. Tears, snot, and spit were running out of both of us now. We were holding on to each other. "Didn't know enough to stop them, Lewis. Your daddies, perhaps, did not know how to stop them. Boys hurt too. You know that? They don't all have peace." Then the next one I wanted to share. "He had to suck you in order to continue living. He had no choice." "You mean he's a vampire?" I asked her. "Sort of," she responded, "by accident. He feels he has many reasons to live. You seem to have forgotten yours. Love yourself, sister." Mm, 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 mm. Mm, mm, mm. That's what I'm gonna share for that. But yeah, I like this more the more I think about it. I knew I liked it as I was reading it. I was shocked, clutching my imaginary pearls, but I knew I liked it as I was reading it. And the more I think about it, the more I like it. So yeah, that's Fish Tales by Nettie Jones. One more. This one, I thought about doing like a dedicated video to this. And the only reason I'm not is because I've overloaded with like the amount of stuff I already got to do in this life of mine. So I was like, let me not add like this review video and then like have to record another one and do even more. Anyways, this these books get me every time. They get me every time, and I'm like, I'm even getting emotional thinking about it. This book, Cobalt Red: How the Blood of the Congo Powers Our Lives by Siddharth Kara. This book took me through it. This and I this is like every 5 pages, maybe 3, I was talking to my husband about this. I'm like, and I don't update him on every single book I read like that. I might, mention it. But I was like going in, telling him stuff I was researching, looking at stuff in the book. This book is, first of all, let me tell you what it's about. I'm trying to compose myself. This book it's a nonfiction book that talks about the Democratic Republic of the Congo and what is going on there as far as the mining industry, the mining of cobalt and other natural resources and minerals, but specifically cobalt in this book. The cobalt that's mined in the DRC is used in our rechargeable batteries globally. Your phone batteries, your tablet batteries, very much so electric vehicles, those batteries. What's happening in the Congo with the mining industry, and especially over the past 10 years, has just been like the way that I felt. I don't know how long y'all been here. The way that I felt when I read the King Leopold's Ghost, and I came on here and I said, like, that book made me like so mad and just disgusted and so many things. That's what this is, because greed and exploitation have no limits. They don't care. They don't care. Like, this system of greed, yes, you could put it on like individuals being greedy, but the system that's reliant on greed and exploitation and stripping away human rights, basic human rights for people, for money and for production and for to like just this book has personal testimonies, on the ground research, like boots on the ground journalism that's talking about this type of it's slave labor for real. It's talking about this slave labor. It's talking about the exploitation of an entire country, an entire group of people. We can talk about the exploitation of the continent for real, but in this book, that's what it's talking about. We're talking about child labor. We're talking about death. We're talking about, I think the reason I keep going back to like King Leopold, which was mentioned in this book too, because it's so hard to talk about the history, the economic state, the humanitarian issues, everything without bringing up Leopold, because he kickstarted just this race to literally exploit, abuse, oppress, enslave, and dominate these people and their land, because the Democratic Republic of the Congo is so rich in so many natural resources. And it's like it never ended. When I'm reading this, I'm looking at these tactics being used and this blind eye that's being turned, and it's like, we getting paid. They say there's no exploitation going on. They say they not abusing kids. They say kids ain't dying. They say pregnant women not dying. They say, everybody in there is doing what they supposed to do. They complying to standards. We gonna take their word. Like, everything is showing you living proof that that's not the case. This book, let me see. I don't even know if I got so many like notes in here. This is what do I even want to share? What do I even want to share? Let me see. I don't even know, bro. It's one thing I wanted to say. Maybe I will have to come back and do it, because I just, this book makes it clear that there are solutions to these problems. There are solutions and nobody cares. And really, half of them don't care because they won't even acknowledge it's a problem. So how are you going to solve a problem that you won't even acknowledge exists on one hand? And the other one's like, we're profiting too much. Y'all all complicit. We profiting and be quiet because we're gonna do what we're gonna do. And I'm like, I don't know what was more devastating, reading this book or like my own research outside of that. And I feel like this is something like I just feel like I can't even like on a small scale exploitation, the basic principles of it just and then to see it on this global scale and to just see how lives are meaningless and worthless to people for greed, for power, for control at multiple levels. This book also makes it clear you got enough blame to go around. You can't fully blame the tech companies at the top. I mean, they get a big chunk of the blame, but you can't fully blame them. You can't fully blame the Chinese middlemen who aren't even supposed to own these depots in the Congo. But guess what? They can. You can't fully blame the people on the ground, the individuals who are exploiting them. You can't fully blame the people. Like, it's so much to go around and nobody cares. So what typically happens because this kind of breaks down the supply chain of cobalt. Typically the Congolese dig for mine. The individuals in this book that it really highlights are called artisanal miners. And they dig for mining in very dangerous and low tech ways. I mean, they out there with bars of rebar, digging in dangerous tunnels, like digging in holes, like things that could collapse, inhaling stuff that could kill them, and is probably killing them at a very faster rate than they would naturally. Kids, the elderly, women, pregnant women who got their babies out there, drinking water is just demolished. And it's like, anyways, okay, wait. What did I say? The Congolese dig for the cobalt. They're the artisanal miners. And then they sell it for a just insanely low price, and they're getting screwed over, and everybody know it. They know it, but they can't do nothing about it, and the people doing it know it, and they not gonna do nothing about it. And they sell it to the Chinese middlemen who aren't even supposed to be there to sell it to in the first place, but they're selling it to the Chinese, and then it gets smuggled into the formal supply chain. And smuggled is loose because they don't even care. They just, at a point, it just kind of gets muddled in. I don't even know if they trying hard to smuggle it because it's just apparent. It gets smuggled. I should say it gets included into the formal supply chain and then distributed on a global scale. It's the same barbaric, forced labor, no choice, exploitation tactics that colonizers used when they first came to the Congo. It's the same song, but a different person singing it. It's the same thing. And it's just like debt bondage, forced labor, wages might as well be non-existent. Might as well be. Making the system is almost set up to where you might want your child educated, but they're not gonna be because the school that's supposed to be funded is not. And really, honestly, it's probably set up by design like that because they don't need your kid in school. They need your kid mining. And so, yeah, they're not going to fund the schools. Yeah, they're not going to, do XYZ. Yeah, they're going to make it so that every single person in the house has to go to the mine to be able to eat, barely, to be able to survive to the next day. Like, here's a quote from the book. The depravity and indifference unleashed on the children working at Tenziwebe is a direct consequence of a global economic order that preys on the poverty, vulnerability, and devalued humanity of the people who toil at the bottom of the global supply chains. This is a book. There's a few. I don't know. I feel like I'm. This is a book I feel like I'll always be talking about. I have like maybe 10 books that I feel like I'm always talking about to somebody just because it's so important for people to know about it and to read about it and to like even understand like how history repeats itself and these same tactics that's being used over and over again and just how much people do not care. Like this will go in that group of books where I feel like I'm always talking about them to somebody. Like I'm always bringing it up. And this actually, surprisingly, because she doesn't typically recommend me books like this was actually recommended to me by one of my professors. Man, I yeah. If you, if you, I don't know. I want to recommend that you read this, but this book will take you through it. It's so heartbreaking. And it's so like reading this, like I personally felt like we're complicit in this. And I didn't even know this existed. Had no clue. Then my husband asked me when I'm telling him about this, and I'm like, dang, I really feel like I'm complicit in this. Like, it made it clear that change really does need to come from the top down. Like, in this, like, the way that he kind of talked about it and stuff like that, I'm like, yeah, that's true. Like, I could see that. But as I'm reading it, like, I can't help but feel personally like some type of way about, like, me being in this, a part of this supply chain. A part of this, like a part of the demand for sure. And then he looked at me and said, so what you gonna do? It's like, it's a good point. You right. I don't know. But this, yeah, this, man, like, I don't know. I feel like it took me a while to get through this because I just kept like stopping. Like I could only read it at a certain time before I'm like on my computer and I'm looking at something else and I'm pulling up this and I'm seeing this and I'm going back to think about and look at the actual history and the formation of the Democratic Republic of the Congo. This book right here, yeah, that's what I'm gonna say about that. This, yeah. Whew, okay. So that's the 3 books I'm talking about today. Those 3. All of these, check your trigger warnings for all of them. That's it for today, y'all. If y'all read any of these, let me know. And I know if you don't want to like talk in the comments on YouTube, like you can let me know you read it. But if you want to get really in depth or like go over some stuff that might be in spoiler territory, DM me on Instagram. We could talk about it. Always willing to talk about the books on my channel and even books that I haven't read yet. So yeah, that's it. I feel like ending with Cobalt Red really got me like spiraling right now because I feel like I'm like, anyways, that's it, y'all. Let me see y'all on the next one.
Pages turning soft as silk, stories flowing like warm milk. A journey starts with every